Okay, so like whenever you're feeling sad, honestly, like you need to soak it in. Because when I was depressed, I didn't think I was depressed. Because like self-diagnosing. But like literally, I would think about dying and killing myself every single day. And it came to the point where it wasn't a fantasy anymore. It wasn't just a thought. It was starting to become a how instead of a what if. It was starting to overflow my mind, and it would consume me every day of how would I leave this world. And I would think about my family and friends, and it wouldn't matter to me at that point anymore. Their reactions, how they would feel, it all didn't even have an effect on me. I just was so consumed by the feeling and thought of killing myself that nothing mattered except that. And it came so bad that I would have these depressive episodes where I would cry and cry about feeling this way and not knowing why, and I shouldn't be feeling this way because I'm so privileged. I'm white, I go to private school, I have friends, I have a good family, I have a nice house, I have everything. And yet I was still feeling this way, and I was guilt tripping myself. Just something you never want to do. And because I was basically ignoring how I was feeling, it became worse and worse. It became so bad that just thinking about my future, whether that's 30 years down the road or 10, 5, or even 5 minutes ahead, just 5 minutes ahead, made my stomach turn and made me feel nauseous and want to throw up. I didn't know anything about the future. I couldn't think about it. The word future would give me shivers. And I didn't think it was normal, but I didn't think it was anything to worry about because I had everything. I didn't deserve to feel this way. And I didn't know what was causing it, so I just thought it was sadness, not depression. Hearing about other cases made me feel bad about the way I was feeling because it was so much worse for other people, and here I am, bad, but not as bad, but that still shouldn't take away from what you're feeling, from what you're experiencing. And after therapy, it helped me identify what was causing my depression, how to fix it, some techniques I can use, how to prevent it, and that was really helpful. But because I overlooked it so much, it still haunts me to this day of how little respect and love I had for myself because I was literally ignoring everything that was literally about to cost me my life. And I didn't think that I had depression or anything. And it sucks to look back because if I had actually acknowledged what I was feeling, my thoughts, and actually felt it all in, then I probably would have been able to get rid of it sooner. Not get rid, but treat it sooner. And if I just had addressed it, I feel like right now I wouldn't be needing to talk about it, need to get it off my chest, need to think back about it and feel all those emotions surface again. And that time was so detrimental, it was so dangerous for me that songs I would listen to while thinking those thoughts, I can't listen to this day. It causes me anxiety and I literally cannot listen to it. And then I finally talked to someone, my parents, and it became better. And it was becoming better with therapy, but it came to the point where I wasn't depressed anymore with the suicidal thoughts, but I was perfectly okay with dying any day. I wasn't going to hurt myself. I wasn't going to kill myself. But if I died the next minute, the next week, I was okay with the thought of that. I was at peace with it. And I would watch TV and these characters would be fighting for their life so hard in like action movies, and I could not understand or even grasp the concept of fighting for your life, wanting to live another day. I didn't understand it and I was so confused. And that wasn't normal, but again, I mistreated it. And there was this poet that was really comfortable with the idea of death, and she was so in tune with it. And reading her work, I completely related. But thinking from another person's perspective, people think she was mad. They thought she was mad for writing about death like a friend. But honestly, I was welcoming death into my life. And with more therapy, those feelings went away and I was starting to feel better. I didn't feel like I needed or wanted to or was okay with dying. I didn't want to be here, but I was okay with being here. And then school started because I was in online school, and then I went back in person, which you'd think would be better, and it was, but I guess school and my home life wasn't great. My big three triggers are school, friends, and home life. And what caused my previous depression when I was suicidal was all three. But this time, this new depression, I guess, was just two. It was my home life and school life. And those weren't going well at all. So I didn't want to kill myself, but I needed to let out my anger. All those days I was feeling sad, I was feeling mistreated, I was feeling angry, I was feeling frustrated, I was feeling annoyed, I was feeling all those ugly feelings at once, and it was all bundled up right in my heart, and I needed an outlet. And I get intrusive thoughts, so my intrusive thoughts were coming, and one intrusive thought really stuck to me. Why don't you just cut yourself? And at first I was like, no, that's ridiculous, but it stuck with me, and I was thinking about it. It was a way to release that pain, all those feelings that were in my heart and everywhere surrounding my body. It was a way to get it out. And I was trying to think of other ways, but like nothing occurred in my mind of how I would be able to get those feelings out. But with therapy, I knew that wasn't the way. So I talked with my therapist and my parents, and we agreed it wasn't good for me to do that. So whenever I was feeling anxious in school or feeling anything, I would have a squishy, and I would squish it. But it wasn't enough for me sometimes, so when I was feeling that way, I would really dig into my skin with my nails. And when you do that, that hurts. It hurts a lot. But for me at the time, when I would do that quite often, or just not even my nails, scratch my arm or just hurt my skin with my nails, it wouldn't hurt. It would feel satisfying. It would feel like everything was better, even though I was hurting myself. I felt like I was getting all my stress out. But then after, I would like have these scars. And because it was only my nails, it would go away. But that still didn't make it right. Like, it still didn't justify the reason why I was hurting myself, because it's not what anyone deserves. But that's what I thought at the time. And it would just feel so good. And I would do that for a while. And it came to the point where the nails wasn't really enough for me. I've never cut myself, but sometimes I would take the knife and just trail it along my skin, and that really was an outlet. It's so weird because that's so toxic and horrible for you, but for me it was healthy and it was calming almost. I don't really know, but I needed it. I thought I needed it, but obviously you don't. And sometimes when I would feel all those emotions, I would go on a treadmill. I would try to find other ways, but nothing just really did it. And I'd always be feeling, why do I feel this way? Why? I hate feeling this way. Because once you're in that depressive state, once you're in that state of feeling angry and all those emotions together, there's no getting out. You're stuck there. You're stuck there for an hour, 30 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 days. I've had those 2 days, days, months. Obviously it fades, but it always comes back. And I just didn't know what to do with myself. But I eventually, with more help, I was able to fight back and get in a better place. But when I look back on my camera roll at those times, you can't see anything wrong with me. I was smiling. I was spending time with friends and family. I was doing what a normal teenage girl does, but that literally means nothing. That means nothing. I remember when I was 10 years old, I was known for laughing. I was known for being happy. And this girl said to me, "Oh my, how are you so happy all the time? I can't comprehend it." And in my head, I said to her, "Oh, I don't know." But in my head, I'm like, I'm not. I'm actually miserable because my home life again wasn't good. And none of my parents, I guess, my parents didn't know what they were doing, but they never physically harmed me, which is very good, or mentally abusive, but there was some stuff. But it just goes to show you literally don't know anything about a person. No one knew what I was going through. They've known me for years, ever since I was born. No one knew until I told them. They had no clue. And I think that goes back to me wanting to self-harm, because I wanted people to see my pain. I wanted them to notice without me telling them. And that never happened. So I think that's part of the reason why I really wanted to, and I felt that urge. It was an urge. It wasn't even a thought anymore. It was an urge. And it sucks when you're not recognized like that, but back to what I was saying, you really don't know what's going on in a person's life. And I think what's really important is that when you're feeling sad, you could be sad about the tiniest thing, you could be sad about the biggest thing, but in those small and big moments, I think it's so important to actually realize what you're feeling. And like with all this like gratitude stuff, they're like, be happy, be grateful. Yeah, you should, but like one of those moments when you're feeling like sucky and awful and horrible, you need to feel it out. You need to feel all that anger. You can't compress it. You have to feel it and recognize the pain that you're going through. You need to feel bad for yourself. You need to pity yourself. You need to cry it all out. You can never feel guilty about what you're feeling. You always have to address your feelings and not feel bad about what you're feeling. Even if it's like the tiniest thing, obviously it may be tiny to someone else, but it could be huge to you. Everything is about perspective in life. This bottle, this color might be beautiful to me, but it could be ugly to someone else. It's like that problem could be huge to you, it could be small to someone else. Does that make your problem any less important? No, because it's important to you, and that's what matters the most. So whatever's making you upset, obviously it's important, it's making you feel that way. You need to address it, you need to sink it in, and then once you nourish yourself, you need to take care of yourself as well when you're feeling those moments. When you're feeling more, more balanced, you can be like, okay, let's address this issue. What went wrong? If you don't know what went wrong, okay, well, what's generally been wrong in my life? What hasn't been usual? And if it's a constant pattern, it's important to go to therapy. It's not always good to talk to your problems with loved ones because they may not understand. They may think you're crazy. They may think that they won't understand. And you still should talk to loved ones to get help and resources. But in the long term, I think it's great to see a professional because they deal with thousands of cases like this. They know what they're talking about. They know how the brain works in psychology, and they can give you real advice. So I think that's so important that everyone should go to therapy, even if you're not dealing with anything. I think it's great. But I'm still struggling with mental health. It's hard. It's so hard. I don't really know if it's gonna get as bad as before. I have my good days, I have my good weeks, I have my bad weeks and bad days. But I guess when you're feeling the lowest of the lows, it's hard to stick around. It's so hard to stick around. There's an easy way out. But you have to remember, when you're feeling the highs, it's so high. And it will it's way bigger than how the lows are feeling. And you have to remind yourself of that. And if you are struggling with fighting every day not to off yourself, I think it's important that you look for the little stuff in every day that excites you. To help myself not do that to myself, I would find one thing each day that excited me. So whether that's a meal, whether that's seeing a certain person, whether that's watching a TV show or listening to a song, or, I don't know, trying on new shoes. It could be anything that excites you, I think is really important. But I really think it's important to get that message across, to not do anything harmful to yourself. Because first of all, you don't deserve that. No one does. No one. You need to love yourself. But you were put here on earth for a reason. You were born for a reason. Nothing happens by accident. Everything's set, everything's planned, everything happens for a reason. So you were here for a reason. You have a purpose in this world, and you may have not discovered it yet. You may be on the path to discovering it. You may have already discovered it, but you have a gift, and you need to share that with everyone, or even yourself. And it's such a waste. It's such a waste if you just kill yourself. It's such a waste. Because all that potential you have, because everyone has potential, everyone has something amazing and great that they can do in this world, just disappears. And maybe your purpose is to help thousands and thousands of lives. And because of that one decision, because you're feeling sad and angry, is gone. Those people you could have helped, they're gone. Or even if it's just one person that you could have helped, maybe they're going through the same things, that one person you could have helped, but you didn't because you killed yourself. What's going to happen to them? I don't know. So I think it's important that it's important that you stay here no matter how bad and awful and terrible, and no matter how much you want to rip your guts out, that you stay here. And people may judge you. People are awful. They will do stuff to you that will pain you and scar you forever. But those challenges, the people who face depression and suicidal thoughts and self-harm and anything like an eating disorder, anything that's harsh and that makes you want to die and that kills you and pains you inside, are the most important people here, because they have so many lessons that they will learn. When I went through my depression, after I was out of it, I reflected and I learned so many things. And without that experience, I would have never learned anything. I still would have been shallow-minded, normal Emma, just one field. So there's so much to learn. And those challenges, it's not life torturing you. It's life giving you those blessings. Because once you get out of the storm, there's a rainbow. Classic saying, but it's true. The rainbows, they're your lessons, and those lessons will be the most valuable things you'll ever learn. Way more important than school. You should still stay in school. But yeah. So my summary: acknowledge how you feel, because you don't want to look back on it in the future and still resent it and pity yourself. You don't want that. You just want to let it go. But in order to let go, you need to look out for your future self and actually feel and sink in what you're feeling and not feel bad. You can't feel guilty for what you're feeling. 2, yeah, you can rewatch the video. This is already really long. But yeah, that's my talk on mental health I talked a lot about depression and self-harm and suicide, but there's many other disorders that, so I don't know because I'm just 14, but if I didn't mention what you're going through, it's still valid. It's still a concern. It's still so important that you seek help and that you love yourself, because you only have yourself at the end of the day, and you're the only person that matters. Doesn't mean you should be selfish, but you're the only person that matters, really. So, if I didn't mention what you're going through, it's still valid, and you should still do everything I said in this video, because that's, honestly, I think everyone should, no matter what you're going through or not going through. But yeah, I guess that's my little message. I don't know if anyone will watch this. It's like 26 minutes long. That's crazy. I should be asleep right now. But yeah, I hope if there are people watching this, I hope this helped. I just kind of shared what I went through, but I hope this helped you, even in the smallest or biggest way. And I hope that maybe you can take from this video and share it with other people, because other people need to hear this message, whether you share actually this video or just what you took the message from this video. I think it's important. So yeah, bye for now.